Hi, I'm Virginia and I'm a medical copywriter. I've been a freelance medical writer for the past 4 years for all kinds of brands, and I've also been employed twice, made redundant twice, and previously I was a pharmacist for 7 years in London. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to set your rate as a medical writer. So I get this question a lot. How much should I charge per hour, per project? What is a retainer? What about taxes? And all of these questions. So hopefully this video will help you with some answers. So let's start with how to set your hourly rate. So let's say you want to work 20 hours per week and you want to make at least £50 an hour. So then you're earning £1,000 per week. So what would justify that rate? Well, you need to think about your expenses and the income that you want, but then also any savings and then also any taxes. So let's say you need that 4,000 every 4 weeks, for example. And that's going to be your absolute bare minimum because let's say about 1,000 to 1,500 of that is going to go straight to taxes. And then the other 2,000 to 3,000 is going to be covering your rent, any insurance, any other essential life things like your electricity bill, your phone bill, any phone insurance, or any software that you use. So if you have a Microsoft subscription, for example, I'm also subscribed to Canva. So I know that's an annual subscription. So I pay for that once a year. And you need to think about how much you're going to have left over after all of those expenses, plus how much tax you are going to be paying. And then what do you kind of want to do with the money? Do you want to save up for a holiday? So for me and my husband, we're saving up for a holiday to Japan. And we do sometimes buy subscriptions, like we bought a subscription to Crunchyroll, which is where we watch anime. And then we canceled that subscription because we realized that we can access some stuff for free sometimes. And we don't need to have that as a monthly subscription all the time. It's also kind of like things like Audible or Spotify. If you don't use them all the time, then you're kind of paying for something that you could be using that money to go towards something else. So if you don't know about what types of insurance you need as a medical writer, I do have a separate video on that you can watch, and I'll link it up here or here. Hopefully something will come up or it'll be in the description box below. So now that you have your hourly rate based on your expenses and what you want to do with any extra money, plus also your taxes that you're definitely going to have to pay, then you can start to find clients who are willing to pay that. So that is probably the biggest takeaway from this video is whatever you charge, there will be people who are happy to pay it. There will be people who do not want to pay it at all. And they will say something like, but if you take on this project, you will learn a lot and it will look great in your portfolio. Avoid those people, okay? You do not want to be spending time working on something for a client or somebody who essentially is just trying to get you as cheap as possible. And they might promise you things like, we'll write you a great testimonial or whatever. But generally, it's just not worth going down that path. It's better to spend the extra time to actually find someone that is happy to pay your rate. But then also, if you can find someone who's willing to pay a bit more, that would be the ideal situation. So, in the case where someone is happy to pay a bit more for your services, this could be for a long-term retainer. So, for example, if you have someone who wants you to do regular blogs or to write regular social media posts, then you can actually say, okay, I'm going to write you 4 LinkedIn posts or 4 Instagram posts or 2 scripts for YouTube for every month for the next 6 months to 12 months. And then you know that you have that client and they're probably going to pay you, I don't know, £1,000 to £2,000 per month. And then you just need maybe another 2 or 3 clients that will also pay you a similar amount. And then that's the hardest part done. Then you just do the work and you try to keep your client happy. So the other aspect to what you should charge needs to also include the value of the work that you are doing. So if it's a really big company, then try to ask for more. Maybe think about doubling or even tripling your rate. So if you normally charge £25 per hour, maybe charge 50 or 75, because first of all, they have a budget, and second of all, they're more likely to afford it. And third of all, they clearly have either reached out to you or they've responded to a message that you've sent them. So there is some kind of connection there. So you are likely to have a good time working together. And try not to discount yourself too much. So I've definitely made the mistake where I've given the client 25% off and then the contract is 6 months. And I realized that because I gave 25% off, I have actually given away a month and a half for free. So that's why you need to try and think about what you're happy to receive from the client, but also how much you're going to enjoy working on the project, and try to think about what they are going to use it for. So is it some kind of content or piece of health writing or medical writing that is going to be evergreen? So it's going to be on their website forever, for example, and then they just need to do minimal updates. Or is it a situation where you are editing old content? So that might be fact checking or checking the evidence still matches up to the information. And it's important to consider how long you're going to work with someone and at what point you decide to stop working with them. But then from another perspective, think about the other potential clients that you could be working with. So when you say yes to someone, it means you're saying no to a lot of other people. So if you feel like you're working on something and you're on a retainer, or you've done one piece of work and it was quite hard to get it done and quite hard to get paid and you had to chase them up a lot, then think about switching to marketing yourself and finding a different client. So throughout all the time that you are doing work as a freelance medical writer, you should really be looking for other potential clients, so that when you complete your work with a specific client that you may be working with right now, then you have another option to go to, or you've got work that you can start on, so you can start building that relationship with the other client. And then you have that nice overlap between your current client and your new client. So those would be my top tips on how to set your rate. So look at your expenses, your income, your nice to haves, what you want to spend on and what you want to save. And then also think about taxes as well, because that will be a big slice of what you earn. And I think it's really easy to give away your skills for really cheap, but ultimately you want to have a good balance between how many hours you work, how much you earn from that, and then also enjoying the work that you do and it being able to support the kind of life that you want to have. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.